Hello, my friend and earthly neighbor, and welcome to the fourth and final week of what I call Psychedelic September. And this week, things do go psychedelic. Pluto goes direct, meaning your karma is now moving forward, and Saturn hits a magical degree, which means a breakthrough in the story you were born to live. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your weekly Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a spiritual way to kickstart your day. I'm your heartfelt host and the Sensei to serious joy, Christopher Witecki. Welcome back, my friend. Namaste. Well, over the weekend, the sun has transited now into Libra. Libra consciousness, if you don't know, is the part of ourselves that keeps things in balance. So this means relationships, this means fairness, this means our capacity for beauty, our capacity for harmony. And when it comes to all these capacities, Jupiter has been in Libra for nearly 1 year now, expanding everyone's definition of what harmony and fairness and balance is to begin with. Well, in this week coming up, you're going to find your balance and restore what harmony means for you, and I believe make a commitment to a harmonic goal. In our upcoming summit this week, I'll talk about how the start of Libra may be a little tipsy-topsy, but will end up on your feet. And then later in our tea time, karma moves ahead because Pluto is direct and Saturn has hit step 22. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Monday, September 25th to Friday, September 29th, 2017. Looking at your 5-day moodcast. Well, looking at the week at a glance, the beginning of the week is topsy-turvy, but as the week moves on, things smooth out. Let's drill down. On Monday, it's cloudy with a chance of some moodiness, as the moon in Sagittarius questions the story you were born to live, and Mercury squares Saturn. On Tuesday, though, it's sunny and surprising. The moon and step 3 will open up new opportunities you may have not seen before. On Wednesday, though, it's cloudy with a chance of anxiety as step 4 promotes breakdown, followed by breakthrough. Then on Thursday, it's cloudy and pensive as you wonder what the story means for you and the story you were born to live. But then on Friday, it's sunny and peaceful as the sun moves to Grandmaster step 6 of Libra and restores balance. Well, this weekend is a little shaky because we're trying to get ourselves into balance and into harmony, and we have been redefining that term for over a year. So our next segment this week, I'm going to talk you through the week and how to restore balance. Taking a peek at the upcoming week, I coined this week, Finding My Balance. And I mean that quite literally. We have the sun in Libra right now, and in this first week of Libra, you're going to go through the more difficult degrees of uncovering where it is you are out of balance and trying to make up for it. Now, some of the problem that people have is that they overreact. You know, they say in driving, a lot of times people get into car accidents because they overreact to the situation. That could be not more true than this week. You want to be very conscious of how you respond to imbalances. In fact, the calmer your response, the quicker you will restore to a natural state of being. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this show, Jupiter has been in Libra since October of 2016. Jupiter is the expansion planet. So Jupiter has been having everyone expand what their definition of balance is anyways. What you thought was fair last year will not be what you think is fair this year. What you thought a good relationship was last year will not be what you think a good relationship is this year. And if you put off the lesson the entire year, then you'll probably learn the entire year's worth of knowledge in the upcoming week. So it could be a little topsy-turvy, as I said in the beginning, but by the end of the week, I'm predicting people to find their natural balance and go from there. So let's walk you through the week and what you can expect emotionally and what the challenge will be. And I'll also talk about two major karmic forces happening this week. Pluto goes direct and Saturn hits step 22. Let's start with Monday. On Monday, like I said, it's going to be cloudy and moody. This might be the hardest day of the week. This might be where you experience a minor breakdown. This is certainly a day to be very careful. And to some degree, this might be a play of an old story. The moon is in the early stages of Sagittarius when this Monday begins. And Sagittarius is the story we were born to live. So you might have some sort of repeat of something that you felt a year ago happened in the beginning of this week. And it's really just an emotional reminder. It's really the universe saying, hey, this is where you were a year ago when it came to fairness and balance. This is where you were a year ago when it came to harmony. Okay? This is where you were a year ago when it comes to justice, which is another energy that is associated with Libra consciousness. So it's possible you could slip on a banana peel, okay, on Monday. And Black Lilith moves to step 25, which means you are facing spiritual fears this week as you begin to restore balance. So if you've had past lives of excess or past lives of drought and famine where you went extremely without, you might have some of those old fears bubble up, particularly Sunday night and Monday morning. So be conscious of that. But then Tuesday, things kind of perk up. Step 3 rules the day, and I'm predicting it to be sunny and surprising. So I think whatever emotion you go through Sunday and Monday is going to be a setup for an understanding, a lesson, a breakthrough. And this could be the understanding and breakthrough that you've been working on for the entire year of Jupiter and Libra. This could be the final clear breakthrough. And what's fascinating about this week is it'll be this week. Jupiter's at step 26, and by the end of the week moves to step 27. That means it'll be this week, in this topsy-turvy week, that you decide and commit, step 26, to what your sense of relationships and fairness and balance is. And by the end of the week, you'll be ready to move forward with that definition. So Monday and Tuesday seem to be those learning days. On Wednesday, however, I'm predicting cloudy with a chance of anxiety, possible thunderstorms. That's because there may be a breakdown in relationships, a breakdown in balance, something you did not anticipate, or it could be an extra part of this lesson that really began on Monday. So when it comes to your balance and your fairness, there may be a breakdown that happens Wednesday, maybe as early as Tuesday night. Now, the other interesting thing about Wednesday is not only is the sun at step 4, which is breakdown, but on Wednesday, Saturn moves to step 22, Sagittarius. Saturn is this planet that's been pushing for us to grow up and discover the story we were born to live. As Saturn hits step 22, that means your story will experience a breakthrough. And it's highly likely that your definition of fairness and balance and beauty is tied to what's your next step in your story. So the breakthrough that happens on Wednesday to Thursday may be quite profound and life-changing. And it may be all on the inside, by the way. It doesn't always manifest on the outside, don't forget. Now, on Thursday, it's cloudy and pensive. And what's fascinating about Thursday is Pluto goes direct. Pluto is the most karma planet that we have. Whenever Pluto moves forward, that means new things will start dying and new things will start birthing. It's been asleep for nearly 6 months now, and right after Saturn hits step 22 and the Sun hits step 4 Libra and Jupiter is ready to commit, as soon as all those come together, boom, our karma begins moving forward. So I think Thursday will be a very cloudy day, a very pensive day, and the moon crosses Pluto direct, which means you'll be ready to finally let go of some old emotional baggage that you may have held on to for an entire lifetime. So I think Thursday will be very therapeutic spiritually. You might do some releasing, some crying, but from that point on, things start to restore to balance. In fact, on Friday, it's sunny and peaceful, as step 6 will rule the day, and strangely enough, Venus will oppose Neptune in Virgo. So Venus is what we're opening up to, and Neptune is what we're intuiting. And so we literally will finally have, let's say, the final note of our faith versus reality transit that we have been working through this entire transit in Virgo. As the Sun and Mars and Venus have all moved through Virgo, they've opposed Neptune. That's why things felt so out of this world and so different. And I would say on Friday, things will feel out of this world and things will feel different. And Venus is at step 11, And Mercury will be at step 29, Virgo, as well. So we will be done thinking about reality on Friday, done analyzing what needs to change in reality, and we'll be free now to move forward with our personal peace. So it looks like if you can hang through the week, you will have major karmic breakthrough, your story will move forward, and you will begin to settle your life and build your peace. Now, that brings us to our tea time topic. I want to talk about Pluto in more depth for all 12 signs. Go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our weekly tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is Karma Moves Forward. And thank Goddess for that. Let me just tell you right now, it seems to me this entire year has been about us shifting our karma on the inside of our story. I have to say, this has been one of the toughest years I've ever lived. And you know what? Every year I say that. But I do think that it is really changing this year. I think 2017 has been a year where people are moving on up or deciding to do the same routine one more time, karmically. And you already know if you did the work. You already know if you showed up. And this week, with Saturn and Pluto, the story now moves forward. First, let's talk Pluto. Pluto is retrograde at step 16, which nets to a 7, which means the universe has been helping you in retrograde to reconsider where personal emotional boundaries happen to be. And I know that has been a huge shift for myself. I've been reconsidering all sorts of where I used to draw the line, where I used to feel safe. And in this Pluto retrograde in the last 6 months, I have completely topsy-turvied what I thought was safe and where I thought the line was. Well, this week, Pluto moves direct, which means there's no more reconsidering to do. We now begin to plow forward and begin to build new boundaries on these new lessons that we learn. Now, the interesting thing about Pluto is it's absolute. Pluto is the planet of death. Once you draw a line, the line is drawn. And it's not usually till a retrograde or another major transit that you would reconsider drawing boundaries. Pluto is in Capricorn. And if you've noticed, our government, the United States, has pretty much stood still for the last 6 months. And I think a lot of that has to do with Pluto being retrograde and a lot of politicians wondering with President Trump, where does the line get drawn? Where do we draw the line now? And he's going over the line. And other parties are like, you should draw the line and go further here. So there's been a lot of debating over where the boundary is. And Pluto is in Capricorn, which means where's the boundary when it comes to the rules, to the law, okay, where we draw our law and what we commit to. That's what Capricorn is. So beginning this week, karma moves forward in the sense of you know what you're going to commit to now, at least for now. You know where the boundary is, at least for now. Let's pull the shift forward and see things go and see if it sticks, which really is pretty exciting, actually, because it has felt so sticky and so humid, and it has been a difficult transit, I think, with Pluto and Capricorn. And we're only at step 16. I predict it to get really interesting with national boundaries, by the way, next year in 2018. A lot of people are like, Chris, when do you see things happening on Earth? Starting May, June of 2018. So relax, we still have time to put things in order. Then there is the story of Saturn in Sagittarius. Now, Saturn in Sagittarius is really pushing for everyone to take responsibility, that's Saturn, and make new decisions, that's also Saturn. It also tells us where to take leadership in our own story, where we take leadership with others. And Saturn in Sagittarius has been working on us since 2014 to take more responsibility and leadership with what we believe. That's a big reason why in national politics and internationally, there's this huge debate once again about some old topics such as racism and equality and people and human rights. Saturn in Sag is asking us to re-examine all these things and see if our consciousness is still behind it. Now, Saturn in Sagittarius is also headed for the galactic center, and the galactic center is where we were all born from, and it is also the story you were born to live. So, as Saturn has moved direct and has been for a while now, almost a month, Saturn direct since the end of August. Saturn direct means that we're now moving forward with what we believe. We're not re-questioning what we believe anymore. And it also means that we're now starting to march toward our fated, destined story we were born to live. You may wonder, hey, when will Saturn conjunct the galactic center? Right before Thanksgiving in the United States, which I think is the Canadian Thanksgiving. So it's like the second or third week in November that Saturn crosses the galactic center. So I think that by the end of November, everyone will be clear about the story they were born to live. Now, what's cool about this week is that Saturn hits step 22. Step 22 is a quantum step. Usually between step 22 and step 23, people figure things out. So I am predicting that not only will your karma move forward with personal boundaries and where you draw the line with your rules, but you will have a major breakthrough in the next 10 days about what your story is and the story you were born to live. Again, you probably won't have affirmation till November, but you'll have more clarity in the next week and a half than you ever have. And it's very likely due to the fact that you've been re-examining what fairness is and what justice is and what equality really is. And that's also another reason we've had this huge healthcare debate, right? What's fair? Should people get health? Should people not get health? You might see some sort of clarity coming into that in the next 10 days too, because the universe is pushing for a result and an answer. So with that said, I want to go down all 12 signs like I like to do with you to give you a little astrology for the week and talk about both of these placements. One, where your karma is moving ahead now with Pluto, where you're going to draw new boundaries and you're going to test the boundaries that you have and move forward in that story of taking control of your life. And the other, I want to talk about where Saturn step 22 is going to affect you. Where in your life will you have breakthrough? And I encourage you to listen to this little report for both your sun sign and your rising sign, or your A story and your B story for my subscribers, because both of them will have really profound relevance. But you may find that your rising sign has more relevance than your sun, just because your rising is your long-term story, the story of who you are becoming, and this is, of course, our karma moving forward, which has to do a lot with our past lives and our entire existence on Earth and the universe. So, that said, Aries, the natural born of the zodiac. Aries, you will now find that your career and your legacy moves ahead. Pluto is saying it's time to plow ahead and start creating from these boundaries you know with career and legacy. And for you, the breakthrough when it comes to your personal story and your belief will be with life purpose. So you're going to have some sort of breakthrough about why you were born in the first place, and that's going to directly be coinciding with you moving forward in your career and legacy. Taurus. Taurus will now begin to move forward with new learning. And this is funny, I'm a Taurus, and I got to tell you, yes, we think we know everything. And Pluto in Capricorn has shown me, no, I don't. Okay? I've had to draw the line about what I believe more than I thought I ever would. And so now I'm just like going with the flow. But I have learned so much in this retrograde. And so now Tauruses will now begin to learn forward. There's not going to be any more research or going back and taking tests of old information. You're solid in what you know. It's time to move forward and learn more. And your breakthrough with Saturn at 22 is personal transformation. So Tauruses who usually do not like to change will have a profound breakthrough in understanding this week to next week, depends on how long it takes you, on what your transformation looks like and what it may look like in the end, what you're going to end up looking like in the end. And that goes for your whole life, transforming money, marriage, business, home, family, anything, mostly your personal self. Gemini. Gemini is now moving forward with transforming their life just like the Tauruses. Geminis are very resistant to change their boundaries, and so they have had to move in all sorts of new comfort zones in the last 6 months. But now you move forward with your transformation. You'll begin to grow, expand, and change again and feel more solid. And your breakthrough will be with personal, long-term relationships. So you probably will have a breakthrough in your twin relationship to yourself, like understanding yourself, and you'll probably have a breakthrough when it comes to your romantic relationships and where they need to go to the next step. Cancers. Cancers, you have been working to change your boundaries in marriage and partnerships. And this is where Cancers are very stubborn. They always think relationships have to be this and have to be that, and this is their boundaries, and they don't kiss on the first date, and da-da-da-da. And Pluto's been slowly working on you in the last 6 months. Now you're going to be pretty clear, okay, this is what I think I can handle in relationships. And so your marriage and personal relationships will now begin to grow forward. Now when it comes to your personal breakthrough with Saturn, this will happen in your health and daily lifestyle. So the story you were born to live is very much tied to the daily life you seek to live. And you will have a breakthrough in your understanding of what that daily life must be. Leos, you have been changing your boundaries when it comes to health and lifestyle. And for the last 6 months, Leos have not been clear on like what kind of life are they supposed to live. What about their health? If you have health issues, where's the line? You know, that could be going too far with food, going too far with alcohol or cigarettes, like constantly changing the line with all of this. Now this week you'll get clear, okay, here are my lines, here's what my lifestyle needs to be, and now Leos will begin to progress forward with building a more solid lifestyle. The breakthrough for you, Leo and Leo risings, will be in your personal dreams and love story. So the story you were born to live deals with following your heart and your personal dreams, and you will have some sort of breakthrough, whether it's a child, a creative project, a romantic partnership, or the greatest love of all, loving yourself. So look for breakthrough in that department. Virgos have been very tight when it comes to their love and relationships. That's where their Pluto has been. Virgos are very solid. Their rules are always very solid about what love is and what love isn't. I'm always surprised how fast a Virgo can just rip you out of their life if you're not working for them. And they've spent the last 6 months working on where their boundaries should be in love and where they shouldn't be. This is also where your boundaries should be with children and creative projects. Well, now your karma moves forward. It's time for your love story, your story with your children, and your personal dreams to move forward with these new boundaries and rules. When it comes to your breakthrough, this is going to give you an emotional breakthrough. So a lot of Virgos have been living with the story they were born to, which was usually neglected, not cared for, you know, that's why they become caretakers. And so your personal story of your own self-nurturing, your own family, the family you choose to create now, will have a breakthrough in the upcoming days, and it's part of the story you were born to live. The story you were born to live was to build the house out of brick, basically. Libras, who are very affected. Happy birthday, Libras. Libras have been very slowly changing their emotional boundaries. In fact, many Libras I know before Pluto hit Capricorn were cold as bricks. Like, I never felt their feelings ever. It was always super analytical, never felt their emotion at all. Pluto's been slowly chopping away at you since 2012, telling you, hey, you gotta change. 2010, actually. Hey, you gotta change your emotional boundaries. Finally, Libras are at a spot where they feel secure with where their boundaries are. This also includes your home life and family. And your breakthrough will be in your thinking and your analysis. In fact, part of your breakthrough might be that you need to consider your emotions in all of your analysis. And for Libras who are messengers like myself, or writers, poets, musicians, you may have a major breakthrough in an intellectual property that you've been working on. If you're caught in legal cases, you might have a breakthrough in your legal case as well. Justice for the Libras. Scorpios. Scorpios have always been rock solid about not changing their boundaries when it comes to how they think. They're very regimented in how they think, and I think that's a safety mechanism God put on them so they wouldn't kill people by accident. Okay, like their mind has these restrictions. But because you have such a tough mind, Pluto has been trying to plow and change your boundaries of what you will allow in your mind, what you won't allow in your mind, what you will allow to say to someone, what you won't allow to say to someone. These boundaries now have tightened up, and you will now move forward with new logic and, let's say, a new operation system in your brain with new boundaries and new directions. So that's great. Scorpios were a little lost there for a while. Your breakthrough, I'm happy to report, is in your financial abundance. So anything you've been working on to manifest, whether it's a child, money, business ideas, trying to create a new business, you will have breakthrough in the next coming days with Saturn at 22 in what you're trying to manifest. So that's a very good thing. I'm happy for the Scorpios. Sagittariuses have been very, very strict about how they handle money. And if you know Sagittarius is, they've been strict about just blowing it. Like I know Sagittarius, like blow it all in one weekend, blow it all in one vacation. You know, and that means they've also been a little careless about their own self-esteem boundaries and issues in their life that affect their self-esteem. Well, you will move forward now with your personal finances, move forward with your self-esteem, and start to build forward. And because Saturn is in Sagittarius, this new self-esteem is going to be somehow tied to a breakthrough in the character that you are. It'll be a breakthrough in the actions you should take. It'll be a breakthrough in the man or woman you were born to be. Capricorns. Capricorns have Pluto in Capricorn, so Pluto has been affecting Capricorns from the ground all the way to the top of the mountain since 2010, okay? And Capricorns are born to resist, so they've had it really hard. Their whole, you know, they're like a rock, so you just have to chisel away, chisel away. And their boundaries have been around what they would do and what they wouldn't do. I don't do windows. I don't do this. I don't do that sort of thing. And now they have finally figured out, okay, they're comfortable with who they are and who they're not. Let's go forward with this character, see if it works. Let's beta test this baby. And where your breakthrough will be as a result of this is in your inner faith. So Capricorns have been through a lot. They've been building inner faith. They've been trying to find what their spiritual mission is on earth and why they were really called to be born here. And you will have a breakthrough in what that mission is in the next coming days. Aquarius. Aquarius has been really stubborn about their faith. And I know a lot of Aquariuses who are atheists, and they're super stubborn about being atheists, and they live in a ton of fear as a result because they have no faith. You know, it's like, oh, if it's not scientific, it may not happen. But the universe has been totally working on Aquariuses. I also know Aquariuses are total like moonbeam and rainbows and way super, super off the planet. And they've been kind of grounding, you know, their faith a bit more. But finally, Aquariuses feel and know what they have faith in, and their breakthrough will therefore be their social calling. They've been very uncertain with Saturn and Sagittarius about who are they supposed to be in the world, what are they supposed to do. Well, the breakthrough comes in the next few days. I'm excited to read about it in your comments. And then finally, the Pisces. Pisces are now moving forward with their social calling. So where they've had boundary issues has been what town they should be in, what friends they should be in, what group they should hang out with, what level or status of society should they accept. Were they supposed to always stay at the bottom? Were they supposed to always be at the top? And so they've been trying to figure out where their line is in the world. Now, with Pluto direct, you're going to feel clear on where your line is in the world, and your personal breakthrough will be the life you were born to live. So once you're clear on where you fit in the world, you now know what lifestyle should be. So some Pisces are going to realize, hey, I'm a poet, and I'm going to do it, and I know it. Or Pisces may be, oh, that's it, I'm leaving the railroad business and going off to fish. You know what I mean? Because you're being brought to the story you were born to live, which is actually the daily life you were meant to live by. So by shoring up the boundaries in society, you know who you are in the moment. Very exciting times. Well, friends, it is such a pleasure to be of soul service, and I look forward to reading and hearing all about your breakthroughs and your karma moving forward. I am so thankful that we are finally shifting in this planetary energy because, like I said, it certainly has been tough. If you want to rub elbows with other light walkers on the planet, we have a little group on Facebook at namastetoday.club. You just have to ask to join, and our moderators will let you in. And I always encourage people to share their work. If you're a reader, you can post your advertisements there. It's totally cool as long as it's legit and spiritual and helping others. And talking about helping others, you might want to help yourself. This is a perfect time as we move down to the story you're born to live to sign up for my personal Sensei service. This Sensei service is like no other astrological application I've ever seen. I take your date of birth, I take your time of birth, and I spoon feed you custom horoscopes through the day, including warnings, pictures, inspiration, sleep intentions. If you haven't tried it, try it now. Visit SeriousJoy.com. All right, friend, so grateful to be here for you, and I will see you next week with more. Until then, remember, I love you, and to live, love, be.
So